These are some Dinar Guru updates, starting off with Fleming. The Iraqis are still being closed-lipped about when they're going to announce the rate and what the rate is. So we just have to sit and watch what goes on there. This thing is going, we just don't know when. Mark Z, I'm hearing a tremendous amount of chatter. Their goal is September 6th. I'm hearing this from many different directions. Frank 26 article quote, after al-Sadr was directed, the Sadrists withdrew from the green zone, and yet ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, MSNBC, and all the news said, breaking news, Iraq is falling at this moment. Liar. That's what Frank 26 said. Sampson article quote, the federal court again fails to rule on the claim to dissolve the Iraqi parliament. Quote, the federal court raises its sessions in cases of dissolving the House of Representatives and sets next Wednesday as a date for issuing the decision, unquote. All right, Nader from the Mideast, I'm glad it calmed down today a little bit. It is doing better. Kazemi will not go away, don't worry. Everything is going to be okay. 2 weeks, we go back to again talk about the exchange rate and dinars and the oil and economy and the private sectors and everything else. For now, no, everybody's stressed out. Everybody's going crazy. What's going to happen? We don't know what's going to happen. I think in a couple weeks, everything's going to be okay. Please, everybody, be patient. Mark Z via PDK, it's very, very quiet on all fronts. I'm getting dead silence from Iraq since yesterday when they let me know things are now peaceful and calm over there. Contractors and government sources are being very quiet. I think the quiet is very good news right now. Caparoni, anytime this type of violence occurs in Iraq is a significant setback to economic development. It's going to take months, maybe even years to get past this nonsense. Frank 26, Firefly, it's all calm here. We're hearing Friday could bring huge clashes in the streets. Not sure. We're waiting to hear more details about this from Sadr. Here's the one who had all the protesters leave the green zone immediately. So we wait and we obey Sadr and Kazemi. Many in the streets are saying Friday is a deadline. If nothing is done, more chaos. Frank, what you're seeing here is the truth. The reality, it's not a disaster. Iran didn't take over. People were killed. It's a confrontation. Firefly says Kazemi has said that if all of this continues, he will quit. As of now, it's all clear. It's all calm. Frank said it's going to stay that way because Kazemi has things under control. Pimpy says there's a silver lining when it comes to the dinar, no pun intended. Here's the thing, you have the gold reserves increasing, which is a huge step. You have the foreign currency reserves increasing. I believe it's 92 billion by the end of the year, which is awesome. The more, the better. But until you get a stable government, stable nation, stable economy, you're never going to see the exchange rate change in any dramatic form, one way or the other. Claire article quote, Biden calls for roadmap to get out of the political impasse in Iraq. Quote, U.S. President Joseph Biden called on Iraqi leaders to engage in a national dialogue to develop a roadmap in order to get out of the current blockage, unquote. Militiaman article quote, a government meeting to complete the project to modernize public financial management systems, unquote. Militiaman said, things may not be as bad for our investment as one may think. The process of implementation of financial and economic reforms is being integrated with financial and managerial accounting that is consistent with international programs and systems in real time. The cogs are turning and are getting plenty of grease. Walking stick via Frank 26, Iraqi bank gentleman in the U.S. update. They, the satellite banks, are getting currency counting sorting machines for their grand opening late September or early October because they know there are hundreds of millions of 3-0 notes all around the world in the hands of Iraqi citizens, and they know the largest majority rest in the United States of America. They're coming up with ways to retrieve their 3-0 notes from Iraqi citizens. Mark Z via PDK, article from Iraq. Quote, the federal court again fails to rule on the claim to dissolve the Iraqi government, unquote. Mark Z said they have postponed it for 1 week. I don't think at this point that we need the Iraqi government to be settled. I could be wrong, but we're going to find out over the next few days. Every contact I have is very excited, but they will not share specifics. They are claiming NDAs. Frank26 says people demand to know what's the problem with Iraq. It's all over the news. How can you be so casual about this? ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC, CNN, all of them, Fox, all day yesterday. ABC just said, breaking news, Iraq is falling apart. CBS says Iraq is being torn apart by Iran right now and terrorism. The whole government has been shut down. They don't need to turn to the the media that's out there. Iraq is nowhere near what people in the media paint. You need to flush the media's reports. All right, BGG said hard news excerpts. Quote, Sadr believes he can control the angry masses, but only if he can control the system. His unleashing of the Sadrs for the 24 hours was that message in graphic form, unquote. How to deal with Muttaka al-Sadr has long befuddled Western and Iranian officials. The latest outburst of violence in Iraq shows they have long underestimated him as well, writes Sajjad Jihad. You want to know what all this means? Sadr sent the message, quote, reform or else, unquote. I believe it was heard loud and clear. Frank26, Firefly Kazemi came out and told us if things continue the way they are right now, this is not right. You don't kill us. He is threatening Article 81 of the Constitution and to make the position vacant to form a government in 15 days span. Frank says what he's saying is there is an article in their Constitution where the Prime Minister, under certain conditions, can dissolve the government. This has been his plan, start brand new under his leadership. Caparoni says Iraq is in a very volatile, sensitive time. There is no RV, but we do want to see Iraq themselves negotiate their way through this crisis. Sandy Ingram, lastly, says it is difficult to move forward with a revalue or a float of a currency when the entire country is in a political crisis. They are changing by the day in Iraq.